I've never felt like a photographer. I've always felt like a camera, and film was just more of my way of making art. I don't feel like I make photos necessarily. I never set out to be an artist, quote unquote, or a photographer or anything like that. I didn't go to art school. Like, I didn't visit museums when I was a kid. Like, I didn't know anything about any of this world. So when I started taking photos along with painting and everything like that, I didn't know that you had to have any sort of intention behind anything that you did other than I'm expressing myself and this feels good. Whenever photography became more and more of a part of my life, of course, a bit of that started creeping in just based on like the overall photography community of you need to have a brand and a purpose and the kind of stuff that just bores me to death and makes me want to like stick my head in the sand. It was more of just staying true to where I came from and like how I originally fell in love with photography and art in general. What I do has always been based purely on what I'm feeling in that moment and what I want to create, but I don't come up with this idea, like I want to take this kind of self-portrait with this atmosphere and this background. My mind doesn't work that way. It's much more like I'm feeling something, so let me set the camera up and jump in front of the camera and see what happens. 95% of the time it looks like shit. 5% of the time it looks great, but I don't do it or make it for the end product. The boxes you've seen, I keep every Polaroid, whether it was blank or whatever, it's just that's part of me saying, here is my humanity, here is my sentience, here is my life, I existed, these were my moments. It's not about creating a final product that is sensational. It's about the process. Years ago, the shop that I got my film processed at happened to just have a couple of rolls of CineStill. I had never seen it before, so I was naturally inclined. Like, I had no idea what I was actually shooting, like what the film was. I saw that it was motion picture film, and it being ISO 800, I just knew that it was different and it could give me some different results. And they ended up really very beautiful with the grain and the saturation at night. I'm keenly aware that I'm perceived as this very dark, melancholic kind of photographer. I don't necessarily intend to be that way, but it's just the aesthetic that I am drawn to that I find to be beautiful. And I shot for a really long time within any light or whatever, inside, outside. And the photos I loved were at dusk, and the blue is a certain kind of muddy turquoise blue, has been my favorite color for so long. Art that I have, like Maxfield Parrish, his colors, I didn't know that they were inspiring me, but they were. And the only way to really tap into those colors and find those colors was shooting at night. That's where I feel comfortable with my camera, is when the sun is going down, everything is turning blue, and I'm alone, and then I feel this congruence between myself and the atmosphere. I first started shooting expired film because I didn't really have enough money to go buy new professional film at the camera store. I shot a couple of times some like new stocks after having shot expired film for so long, and I hated it. It was just absolutely boring to me. Like, there wasn't that experimental factor, I guess. Everything about starting to shoot color film, it was all like I don't know what any of this is. I don't know if any of this is going to come out or work or anything like that. That was the joy in it. And that gave me a lot of creative freedom because I didn't feel glued to this sort of like every shot has to count. The freedom and the intuition of shooting just worked with my vision and the things that I did. And the reason I was even taking photos to begin with was I was just experimenting and fucking around. You really never know what you're going to get, and it's always a surprise, and it's always fun. Even if you get back like 6 blank rolls, that's part of the process. And I would rather take that risk knowing that I'm in my element and I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm not thinking about shot for shot, oh, I need to make this perfect or something. I don't have like a category for myself or like what it is that I do. I take self-portraits, I collect meaningful moments and things. Like all I really care about is connecting to whatever it is that makes me feel real. I can't ever say, hi, I'm Edie, I'm a photographer. It's always just been a part of who I am and a hobby and a way of surviving. So I'm really bad at defining all of it, but maybe that was enough rambling that you can get something out of that.